Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, The Future is Now. Today, we're going to talk about crypto philanthropy, non-cash assets, and different tax considerations. We are joined by our incredible partner, 990. We have Nikita with us from Rock Hill, South Carolina. I'm coming to you from Sarasota, Florida. We're going to give everyone maybe a minute or two to join. And while everyone's coming in, we would love to see what organization that you're from and also what city that you're from. I guess I failed to say I'm in Sarasota, Florida. And it is, we are in the throes of summer with these extreme heat warnings. So staying in the AC, but let's see where you all are coming in from. Just go ahead and throw it into the chat. I think we'll give it maybe like another minute or two. Let me go ahead and share my screen as well. All right. So it looks like we've got a few people that are continuing to trickle in, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So just want to go through a few housekeeping items. This webinar is being recorded and will go out to you all within the next couple of days, along with our slide deck. So please feel free to drop any questions into the chat in the Q&A box as we go. We will definitely try to hit as many of those as possible at the end of the presentation. I'd love to go over the agenda real quick. First, we're going to talk about basically a high-level overview for crypto and crypto philanthropy. Then we're going to dive a little deeper into fundraising with non-cash assets. So we'll talk more about donor-advised funds and stock. Then we're going to go into the IRS compliance piece as well as the filing requirements. So we'll have Nikita give her expertise on that piece. I would love for Nikita and I to give you all a brief introduction. I'll go ahead and go first. My name is Carly Evans. I am the Senior Nonprofits Partnerships Manager over at the Giving Block. I've been here for about 1.5 years now. I do come from a background in fundraising. Before coming to the Giving Block, I was running an annual fund for a local performing arts foundation while we were undergoing a massive capital campaign, which you all know is always fun. And then prior to that, working at a national grant-making foundation in New York City for veterans. So Nikita, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Nikita. I am the product manager for Tax990. Tax990 is a sister product of a parent company called Span Enterprises. We have several different products within Span, and I've worked on several of those different products over the last, almost 2 years now. I just kind of had a passion for the nonprofit industry and assisting our organizations and our clients. So I dug a little bit deeper into that and have been working, as I said, the product manager for probably about the last just over 1 year now. So it's been really great. Prior to this, I've kind of dipped my toes in some different volunteer and nonprofit situations. So it just kind of was my background, and here we are. I'm really excited to be here working with the Giving Block today and learning a lot about what they do as well, and being able to share this Tax990 opportunity with everybody. So as I mentioned, Tax990, we have over a decade of experience assisting the nonprofit industry with the annual 990 series returns. As I said, we are a sister product of Span Enterprises. With Span Enterprises, we have a whole suite of different sister products that hosts over 70 different e-file tax forms. So we have a significant, we've e-filed millions and millions of forms. We have a significant amount of experience in it. And Tax990 is specific to the nonprofit industry. Excuse me. We do set ourselves apart from other nonprofit e-filing solutions because we offer a solution for either an organization that has a treasurer filing the return or a CPA firm that is filing for hundreds of different organizations. We support a multitude of different options there. And then we have a significant amount of resources, tools, technology, and features that help you along the way with your e-file process, but we'll dig into that a little bit more here in a little while.
Thanks so much, Nikita. I can't wait to hear more about that piece. I'm going to go over briefly a little bit about the Giving Block before we jump into it. So the Giving Block has been around since 2018. We are the leading platform connecting nonprofits with modern philanthropists. We did pioneer the crypto philanthropy movement. And since then, we decided to diversify a little bit into automating stock donations. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with how laborious that process can be, speaking from someone that has experience doing that. So we wanted to find ways to simplify that, as well as automating donor advised funds. And so we now work with thousands of nonprofits to help them fundraise more effectively from modern donors. All right, so before we jump in, I would love to launch a poll and see where everyone is in terms of fundraising non-cash assets. So let me go ahead and launch that and see. I would just love to know what you are accepting right now. Are you accepting stock? Are you accepting crypto? Both? Neither? If you're using Chariot, that's what we utilize as an integration for drafts on our site. Are you doing both? Would just love to see where everyone's at. Okay. Some of you are doing just stock. Some are doing stock and crypto. Less are doing stock and crypto, more doing just stock. We don't have anyone just fundraising crypto, but a majority of you are not doing neither. And I'm so glad you are on this webinar right now so we can talk a little bit more about the opportunity. So I'll go ahead and share the results with you real quick. And you can take a look and see where everyone else is at, and then we'll go ahead and move forward. All right, so let's get a little bit into talking about crypto. And I'm going to make this pretty high level, and I don't want anyone confused. I want everyone taken away. The really simplest way to explain this is it is digital money. So each unit of cryptocurrency is a digital asset, sort of like a computer file. And to transfer units of cryptocurrency, users need a digital wallet where crypto can be sent from or to be received. You can transfer this anywhere in the world within a number of seconds. In a basic way, you can think of a digital wallet much like a bank account. And cryptocurrencies are also decentralized. And again, having the ability to send crypto anywhere in the world is really incredible. So if I wanted to send money right now to, say, someone in Ukraine, they're going to be able to receive it almost instantly. Another thing about cryptocurrency is that there are unchangeable transaction records on the blockchain. And the most amazing thing when we talk about cryptocurrency for you all nonprofits is you're never going to be holding on to any crypto. And I think a lot of people get a little worried about this. And this is something that, you don't need to worry about at all, because as soon as a transaction is made, if you have a donor giving you a gift of cryptocurrency, we go ahead and automatically convert that to USD, US dollars, right at the time of donation. So you don't have to worry about volatility. You don't have to worry about holding anything exotic on your balance sheet. It's converting to cash for you at the moment of the donation. So let's talk a little bit about scale. So this scale of crypto users might shock you. There is a giant user base. The crypto market has over 300 million active users. So just as a comparison, the United States has over 330 million people in it. So just let that sink in for a second. So believe it or not, there are over 108 million verified users on Coinbase. That is one crypto exchange of many. So this is much larger than both Charles Schwab and Fidelity, who have 33.9 and 83.4 million active users respectively. So truly the amount of crypto users eclipses active stock users. So this is really a great demographic for you all to tap into. We'll go a little bit into the active user base. This is something that I think surprises a lot of people as well. So stablecoin settlements, there's some logos of some stable coins there, surpassed $7 trillion in 2022, which is significantly more than MasterCard settlements of 2.2 trillion. So for those of you who are new to stablecoins, these are coins that are pegged to the US dollar, 1 for 1. So a USD coin would be equal to $1 US. Now in 2021, if we go back 1 year prior, Ethereum moved over 11 trillion, eclipsing Visa, who transacted 10.4 trillion during the same time period. So I know a lot of you might be used to the idea of crypto investments where people buy and hold, but there is also a very active user base. I'll go into the demographics of your typical cryptocurrency user. So 94% of crypto users are millennial and Gen Z. The average age of the crypto investor is 38. So a little bit of your older millennial. I'm just going to throw a bunch of interesting stats at you because they're extremely compelling. 83% of millennial millionaires invest in crypto. And the average crypto user's income is $110,000. So much, much higher than the national average. So not only are these individuals young, they're also wealthy, they're tax savvy, they're financially literate, and they're also typically pretty engaged in social media. And many nonprofits have a donor base that are slowly aging out. And crypto provides nonprofits with these multiple generations of untapped potential. So they are really generous, young, and wealthy. So to go another layer deep, we have some interesting information from a report that Fidelity did last year that says 36% of crypto investors are more likely to donate $1,000 or more, and also generally more generous. They also found that these crypto donors are more likely to donate $1,000 for investors than investors of stock. So it's a pretty compelling demographic for you to want to engage in. And even though this crypto donor is in their 30s, it's probably quite a bit different from the age of your existing donors. And that's a good thing, because we do hear quite frequently that a lot of nonprofits say, I don't have any donors in their 20s or 30s. Nobody's younger. And that's normal because nonprofits don't. And that's the whole point of accepting crypto donations, is to break into a new donor demographic. These do tend to be net new donors and net new dollars. So we're finding that a lot of these donors are giving crypto because of the tax benefit. Again, probably not your current donors. These could be people that are searching Google, they're Googling donate Bitcoin, donate crypto, and they're looking for a place to make a charitable gift. And for a lot of these younger generations, their net worth and wealth is stored in crypto. So it's truly a convenience factor for them to donate crypto, but again, also the tax incentive. So same way for stock, most major gifts into nonprofits are coming in by way of stock, but from these older, wealthier individuals that are giving through stock and DAFs, they want to take advantage of that tax incentive. So a result of these factors is an average higher donation size. And truly, if you could build an ideal donor in a box, it would be a crypto donor. And if you continue to steward this donor for years, you could have them for their lifetime. So the other thing that I will leave with you on this user base is I want you all to take into consideration the great wealth transfer. I'm sure you've all talked about this within your development team of how you're strategizing to get these younger donors. Since we do have Gen X, millennials, and Gen Zs inheriting about $70 trillion. So I hope everyone has a plan to make sure they're starting to tap into those generations. You do want to meet these generations where you're at with that donor-centric fundraising and be able to accept the assets that they want to give. Another cool thing here is that people want to donate it. So these are some interesting Google Analytics that we've pulled. In 2020, significantly more people donated or Googled the term donate stock than donate Bitcoin. And we have seen that gap close year over year. And at the current trajectory that we see, donate Bitcoin is probably going to surpass donate stock. We work with over 2,000 nonprofits to accept and fundraise crypto, but many, many more accept stock donations. As you saw in the poll, most of you are accepting stock donations. So I want you all to remember that this is a much less competitive market, and there are a lot more crypto users for every nonprofit accepting crypto than those accepting credit card and stock or other ways to give. So it's also the best performing asset class, and I don't want you all to be scared off by the headlines. There have been a lot of headlines flying around, especially within the last 6 months, that Bitcoin is dead. It's actually been declared over 400 times. There's actually a website that you can go to that refers to it, which is pretty funny. That's nothing new to the crypto industry. It has fluctuated 30% or more over 16 times. And it may be the most tax efficient way to give. This is because the math will tell you that even though it's down at the moment since its peak, it's still higher over the last few years than most stock. Millions of people are still way, way up on their investment. So this top chart shows you here how crypto has gone up over the last decade. And that what this tells you is that volatility is not always a bad thing. We're still about at the same place as last year, but year to date, Bitcoin is up over 80% and Ethereum 58%. So this chart at the bottom is from market close yesterday. So it's kind of cool to see, where other asset classes are in the market year to day, and Bitcoin, Ethereum are just crushing them. So interesting to share with you all. I'd love to share also a few more highlights from our annual report. And if you want to learn more about this, you can go to our website and check it out. We've got a bunch of great data on that. But some important things of note is that we have raised over 125 million in crypto donations since the inception of the Giving Block in 2018. Even in a down year for crypto, which was 2022, we signed up over 1,052 nonprofits. We also had our biggest donation come in to date from Vitalik, who is the founder of Ethereum. He made a charitable gift of over $9.4 million to the University of Maryland to help fund a research initiative on public health. That was just incredible. And our most donated asset was USDC. So one of those stable coins that I was mentioning earlier. This year, our stablecoin donations were worth about $22.7 million that went to charities, and then that followed by Ethereum and then Bitcoin. So let's talk about fundraising with non-cash assets. But first, I want to go over kind of the state of non-cash philanthropy in 2023. And this is where I'm going to stress the importance of new revenue streams. So non-cash gifts remain about 20x to 50x higher than your average online gift. And for crypto and the rise of stablecoins and NFT fundraisers, these are key drivers of giving capacity. For stock and DAF, the donation process is a bit of a barrier, especially for younger generations, because they don't want to pick up the phone. They want to do everything online. But the ease of making those donations with automation is truly changing that. Like, as we just showed you, the Google Analytics, people are doing this themselves, and they're looking online for places where they want to give, and they don't want to have a third party involved. Traditional online giving, as you can see here, the average age of your traditional online donor is 65. Again, why you probably are all wanting to get a little younger. So average donation, 21, a couple $100. And the median amount of gifts under $1,000 is 20. So how can we get more donors who are younger than 65 and more generous? Well, by giving them the ability to easily donate the assets they want with their crypto, stock, or donor advised funds. This is so great to look at this, just the numbers, looking at your average cash donation, stock, and crypto from 2022. So again, you have your average cash donation, $128. Stocks ranged from about $5,000 to $10,000, and your average crypto donation of about $6,500. So as you can see here, these gifts of crypto and stock are coming in exponentially higher than cash gifts. All right, let's talk a little bit about donor advised funds. I feel like this has been a rising trend in the industry, which has been amazing. There's $234 billion in donor advised fund dollars that are sitting in donors' accounts. So this is where donors have already gotten their tax write-off. These funds are just waiting to be deployed. So the big opportunity here is converting your cash donors to giving gifts of stock or crypto or with their donor advised funds. And with crypto and stock, they're offsetting their capital gains at the time of the donation. And with the DAFs, they've already gotten that tax deduction. But this is where you're really wanting to ask your donor to give an appreciated asset, because as you can see, those gifts are so much better. It is important to share with your donors to remind them of the tax efficiency of donating these other assets, particularly with those younger donors who have typically not been utilizing a financial advisors and they're starting to grow their portfolio on their own with platforms online, such as Robinhood, which has gained, a lot of success in recent years. We'll go a little bit deeper on DAFs with this slide. For those of you who aren't familiar with donor advised fund, it is a fund that allows donors to establish and fund the account by making an irrevocable tax deductible contribution to a charity that they self-direct. And like I was mentioning in the prior slide, it has grown exponentially in recent years. If you want to learn more about DAF and statistics, National Philanthropic Trust has an amazing recent annual report. There's some huge numbers. So contributions to DAFs in 21 totaled $72.67 billion. That's the highest ever. This number surpasses the revised 2020 value of $49.58 billion and is a 46.6% increase year over year. So a lot of money has been locked up in DAFs, but the grant payouts have been increasing. Then this is what we want. So we want donors to put that money to use. And 2021's payout rate was 27.3, again, highest on record. And grants from DAFs to charitable organizations reached a new high of $45.74 billion. And the charitable assets in all DAFs totaled $234 billion in 2021. So this is just to show you how consistent charitable support that DAF donors can provide you. This is asset potential of what donors have to give by market size for crypto stock. This just shows you how much potential that there is here. US users in crypto, 60 million, stocks, 145 million. There was 69 million donated in 22 with crypto, stock over 100 billion. And again, the average gift size. So hopefully a lot of you see that and you say, oh yeah, I need to increase my average gift size. And then generations of philanthropy and how they want to give. So baby boomers, they're still giving stocks, Gen X stocks. Now, once we move into the millennial and Gen Z, they are giving both crypto and stock. So that's what they prefer. So again, meeting those donors where they're at, you want to be able to accept how they want to give. So we'll talk real quickly about the tax efficiency of donating these assets. So this is, again, what's showing you that it's better to get gifts of crypto and stock versus cash. Your gift is going to be so much bigger if they don't have to pay capital gains. So with the market cap of crypto being about $1 trillion with 50 million US users, 69 million donated in 22. This is a big part of the tax incentives when donating crypto or stock. Both of these are considered property assets by the IRS, so any capital gains can be sent to a charity. Both of these are extremely tax efficient, better to give those than cash because with inflation, our cash on hand loses value with inflation that we have going on. So this is a win-win for the donor and the nonprofit. The donor gets to do more good, putting those funds that would otherwise be sent to Uncle Sam to a charity that they care deeply about and to make a more impact. So the slide truly breaks down the donation by type. A donor can give up to 30% more with a non-cash gift. And these crypto and stock gifts, again, will primarily be major gifts. So a great idea to focus on. This next slide here is just truly showing you like a side-by-side comparison. This is going to apply to both crypto and stock. So if the donor decides to sell a stock or crypto before giving it to you, you could see how much more could be going to charity. So love sharing that with all of you nonprofits out there. And who fundraises non-cash assets? So these are some organizations that we work with. I think especially when it comes to the crypto aspect, a lot of people think that this might be fringe, and it is absolutely not. We work with hospital foundations, community foundations, other humanitarian organizations. You might be surprised at how many well-known nonprofits are already accepting crypto. And so even though we love to showcase all of our big names, I would say most of the organizations that we work with are on your smaller to mid-size nonprofit. So that's about 75% of the organizations that we work with. We have built hundreds of successful crypto fundraising programs with organizations who raise over 6 figures a year. And so the key takeaway here is we work with organizations of all sizes, and these nonprofits have truly realized the benefit of diversifying revenue and are starting to cater toward that younger digital native philanthropist. And I'll end you with this, and then we're going to pass it over to Nikita. Where is non-cash asset fundraising going? And really, truly, how you have a modern, successful crypto philanthropy program. We want you to make this easy for your donors to give. We don't want you to neglect donor needs. We have a customer success team that can help you with all of, how to get in touch with these crypto users, best practices on social media. We don't want you, using Bitcoin with 2 words and a hashtag. So those little nuances are important. And then also really stressing that you actively fundraise instead of passively accept it. If you just throw a donation form on your site that says you accept crypto, more than likely you're not going to get any gifts. So we want you to be out there sharing it on social media and within your newsletter that you are accepting cryptocurrency and get involved in the community. So that's pretty much it from us. Nikita, I'm going to pass it over to you to go over the compliance and forms.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carly. That was interesting to learn all of the different things that crypto is doing in the world and how popular it's becoming and how much it can benefit the nonprofit sector. I think that's really cool advances for an organization. That's wonderful. But diving into some Tax 990. So today we're going to talk about IRS e-filing requirements and the process to complete your annual 990 series return. We'll talk a little bit about the e-file requirements by the IRS. What kind of information do you need prior to filing? What is being reported on these forms? We're going to talk about the filing deadline because it's incredibly important that you file your forms on the deadline or prior to. We're going to talk about how to file with an IRS authorized e-file provider. We do want to mention that we at Tax 990, we are not tax advisors. We're not going to give specific tax advice. We're really just going to be discussing IRS e-filing requirements and the process for e-filing. So if you have specific questions about your taxes, about reporting, things like that, you'll have to speak with an accountant or a CPA or a tax advisor of some sort. All right. So your annual e-filing requirements. So to maintain your tax exempt status and remain compliant with the IRS, organizations are required to file a 990 series return on an annual basis. If your organization fails to file a return for 3 consecutive years, you'll risk losing your exempt status. And you may incur penalties with each year that you skip filing. So just because you didn't file this year doesn't mean you're necessarily revoked, but you may have fees due. And then if you skip filing again next year, again, it's not necessarily a revoked status, but you may have more fees due. After 3 years of not filing your annual return, you're going to have to back pay all of those fees due, as well as go through all the hoops with the IRS to be reinstated as a tax exempt organization. So it's definitely not something you want to skip. The IRS mandated e-filing for the 990 series returns on July 1st of 2019. So organizations filing a return with a tax year beginning date after July 1st of 2019 were required to e-file the returns moving forward. This means the IRS no longer accepts a paper form. We speak to so many clients that are just like, forget it, I'm just going to send it in by mail. Please, please, please don't do that, because the IRS is going to send it back to you. They're going to say it's rejected. At that point, it will also be considered late. You'll have fees due. You'll have to go through an e-file provider anyways. It's just such a process for the organizations that choose to do that. So please know that as of July 1st of 2019, you are required to e-file. The IRS had mandated this for many reasons. They're going towards e-filing for so many forms, not just for the nonprofit industry forms, but for business tax forms, for personal tax forms, so many different areas. It reduces the amount of filing errors, and it helps ensure that the IRS guidelines are met, meaning that your calculations are more accurate and the information you provide matches what the IRS has in their database. It makes filing and IRS processing more efficient to provide quicker turnaround times on updated form status. So it's a really big deal for you to confirm that your forms are accepted. When you transmit a 990 series return, you need to know that it was accepted, because if it's rejected, it's going to be considered late or like you didn't file, basically. So with e-filing, you can confirm that the forms have been accepted, and you can confirm that you've done everything you need to do for that year. So the e-filing process really has made it more convenient for an organization to stay on top of what they're doing year after year. If you go ahead to the next slide, Carly, please. Thank you. So there are several important pieces of information that you're going to need prior to filing. You'll want to confirm your organization's 9-digit EIN. You'll need the organization's address and the tax exempt status, such as the 501c something. Oftentimes we work with 501c3. It may be 9, 4, 5, whatever your organization is. You'll want to confirm that. The tax year beginning and ending date, and the principal officer information, such as their name, their phone number, and their address. The information you provide on your return must match the information on the IRS database. Most of the information can be found on your organization's IRS determination letter or on a previous tax return. But if you don't have this documentation, you may need to contact the IRS prior to filing. Again, it's incredibly important that the information you provide on your forms match what the IRS has in their database. If it doesn't match exactly, you do risk having a rejected return, which again it could cause penalties. It could cause the IRS to indicate you didn't file that year, so on and so forth. So you want to confirm that information. Okay, next slide. Oh, we're already there, sorry. When completing the 990 series return, you're providing the IRS with information about what your organization accomplished through the year. So you'll have the opportunity to explain the programs your organization was part of, the activities your organization hosted, the financial transactions related to those programs and activities. You'll provide information pertaining to governance of the organization, annual revenue, expenses, assets. Your 990 series return may also be used when applying for grants and funding. A lot of the different companies out there that work with grants, donations, and funding want access to these forms just to verify for validity purposes of your organization. So providing accurate and full information on your forms is beneficial to those grants and funding platforms. The form you choose to file, it'll depend on your organization's financial activity. Depending on how much your organization brought in total assets for the organization. So the form type could change year after year. We'll talk a little bit about that here in just a minute. As mentioned, though, you will be asked about your organization's revenue, expenses, and assets, and the form you choose will be based on your gross receipts and your total assets at the end of their tax year. Gross receipts are going to be determined by the total amount the organization received from all sources during its annual accounting period without subtracting any costs or expenses. Total assets are going to be the assets owned by the entity that has an economic value whose benefits can be derived in the future. To confirm what your gross receipts and your total assets are, again, you may want to speak with a tax professional for confirmation prior to filing. Tax990 can't tell you what an asset or your gross receipts would be, but a tax professional, an accountant, a CPA, they can assist you with confirming that information. Okay, go ahead. So we'll talk a little bit about the different forms that you have to choose from when filing year after year. The 990N is also referred to as the e-postcard. It is the smallest form and can be filed by organizations with gross receipts that were less than $50,000 at the end of the tax year. Because of the small amount of information provided on the 990N, it's the only form, only the form summary is available upon completing the return. And it is the only form that doesn't qualify for an extension. So when you choose which form to file, you can always file up, but you cannot file down. What does this mean? If your gross receipts meet the requirements to complete a 990N, you can choose to file a 990EZ or a 990 long form instead, which a lot of organizations do for grant and donation purposes, but you cannot go the other way. If your gross receipts and assets meet the requirement of a 990EZ, you can't choose to file a 990N instead. So you can file up, but you can't file down. As I mentioned, organizations that qualify for the 990N may want to complete a 990EZ or 990 to further explain their programs and their accomplishments and their funding so that they can submit that for donation purposes or for grant applications and things like that. The 990EZ is the short form return for an organization exempt from income tax. And it can be filed if an organization's gross receipts were less than $200,000 and total assets at the end of the year were less than $500,000. This form is considered the short form because there's only 6 parts in total. You'll provide information about revenue and expenses, program service accomplishments, officers, and activities. The 990EZ supports several schedules that the IRS requires based on the information you provide on the return itself. A schedule is just added information in addition to what you've already put on the 990 return to further explain your revenue and expenses and program accomplishments. The 990 is the long form return for an organization exempt from income tax. Can be filed if the organization has gross receipts greater than or equal to $200,000 or assets greater than or equal to $500,000 at the end of the year. The 990 form will ask for more detailed information specific to categories like your mission, accomplishments, revenue, expenses, governance, compensation of officers, activities, and it supports several additional schedules outside of what the 990EZ supports. Like with the 990EZ, the IRS required schedules will be based on the information you provide on the return itself. What does that mean? So if on your 990EZ or 990 form, you indicate you are a 501c3, then automatically you're going to have to complete the Schedule A. That's going to be based off the 501c3 choice you made on the 990 form itself. Another example would be if you have gross receipts greater than the 200,000, you're going to automatically complete Schedule B to indicate where that money came from, contributions over $5,000. That will be based off how you report your gross receipts on the 990 form. The 990 PF is the return for private foundation used to figure the tax based on investment income and to report charitable distributions and activities. If your organization is considered a private foundation within the IRS database, you are required to complete the 990 PF form. The IRS will not accept an alternate 990 series return regardless of your financial activity throughout the tax year. Your organization's determination letter will clearly state if your organization is considered a private foundation. So if you look at your determination letter and it does not clearly state you are a private foundation, you are required to complete a 990 PF form, then you would choose one of the other 3 990 forms that meet your financial status. If it says you are a private foundation, you need to complete a 990 PF, you do not want to choose one of the other forms, the IRS will reject it. You will be required no matter what to do the 990 PF. Section 4947A1, non-exempt charitable trusts treated as private foundations can also complete the 990 PF return. Again, that will be indicated on your determination letter. The 990 PF only supports Schedule B for reporting contributor information. There are no other schedules associated with the 990 PF. And it is one of the only forms that may have tax due related to excise tax based on investment income. If your organization does owe the IRS, you can send a check or money order or use an EFTPS account to make those payments. But we do usually suggest if it's not something you're used to doing, that you contact the IRS and confirm those steps prior to sending money. Lastly, the 8868 is the application for an automatic 6-month extension of time to file. This form must be filed on or before your organization's original filing deadline, and only one extension can be filed, meaning you can file on or before your deadline for a 6-month extension, and once that extension is up, you're required to file your actual form. You can't file another extension. And the 8868 does qualify for the 990 PF, the 990, and the 990 EZ. But as mentioned previously, you cannot extend a 990 in filing deadline. So the 990 series return filing deadline is based on the organization's tax year. Your return deadline must be filed, so your returns have to be filed by the 15th day of the 5th month following the end of the organization's tax year, and that's a lot, but we can break it down. If the 15th of the month falls on a weekend or federal holiday, the deadline is moved to the next business day. So we just had a July 15th deadline, but since July 15th was a Saturday, it became the July 17th deadline. So it's just moved to the next business day. Most organizations have either a calendar tax year that runs January 1st through December 31st, or a fiscal tax year that runs from July 1st to June 30th. However, a fiscal tax year can be any 12-month timeframe other than January 1st through December 31st. So the deadline, like I mentioned, that we just completed, the tax year was March 1st through February 31st, and their returns are due 5 months later, would be July and the 15th day. But as I mentioned, it fell on a weekend, so it moved to Monday. This information can be found on the organization's determination letter. The information provided on the 990 series form must match the information in the IRS database to reduce a risk of a rejected return. So if you transmit a form that has the incorrect tax year on it, it is likely that your form will be rejected. But if you look at your determination letter beforehand, it will have the tax year end date. And then it's just 12 months prior to that. So if your tax year end date is June 30th, your tax year beginning date would be July 1st, your deadline would be November 15th. And I know that's very confusing. Screenshot this chart if you need to, give us a call. I mean, we're happy to help figure that out for you guys because it kind of gives people the runaround. Okay. So now that we've reviewed the different forms and some of the IRS guidelines, I just want to discuss some of the key features Tax990 offers to assist you in your filing process. So Tax990 performs an internal audit after you've completed return. This verifies that the requirements from the IRS form instructions have been met. The audit helps verify that your calculations are accurate and the necessary schedules are generated. So before you transmit your return using our program, we're going to put it through an audit. We're going to say, because you chose this on your 990 form, you need to complete this before transmitting. And we won't allow you to proceed without that being completed, just to make sure you've met all of the IRS instructions. Those instructions are hundreds of pages long, and it's so hard to figure out what is required when completing that. So we help you through that. We make sure those things are met to reduce the chances of having a rejected return. We provide auto calculations to help you remove the guesswork from filing. There are several areas of the forms that are auto calculated on the return. For example, when you input all of your different categories of revenue, your total revenue is going to be calculated accordingly. And then the information is automatically saved, because filing can be such a lengthy process. Like the 990 form itself is like 12 pages without schedules. So it's a really long process, and we understand that. So when you file your return with Tax990, you can come and go as you please, and the information you enter is saved automatically. And since we offer a cloud-based program, you can access your account from anywhere at any time and pick up where you left off. So if you started at home this coming weekend, and you get lost, you can pick it up in the office later with, a second pair of eyes helping you get through it, and it'll pick up right where you left off. We also understand that most organizations have been paper filing for years and prefer to review their return prior to transmitting or while working through the process. So we provide access to a draft PDF while you're working on the form. And when you finalize and transmit your return, you'll have access to a professional copy for your records. And the professional copy will remain in your account, so you can print and download it at any time if you have someone requesting a copy, or you just need to reference something from a previous year, whatever the case may be. We also have a lot of clients that print a PDF as they're working through it, so that they can kind of cross-reference with what they've done in the past, specific lines, so on and so forth. As I've said many times, I've talked about the rejections, and we hate to see organizations have a rejected return. It just becomes so stressful for them. And then, they have to figure out what they did wrong and how to fix it. So we really do help to alleviate some of that. In the case that your return is rejected, Tax990 provides you the reason for the IRS rejection and allows you to resolve it and retransmit it for no additional cost on that. So for example, if the IRS rejected your return because your tax year provided doesn't match what the IRS has in their database, you can go in after it's been rejected and you can edit the tax year you've provided and retransmit it back to the IRS. A couple other just really key features that we offer. So the program will save your organization details. So whether you assist in the filing process for multiple organizations, or you're just filing for your organization, you can manage all your details from the same account, and your organization information is saved in the account. So when it comes to file each year, you can just choose what organization you're filing for, and the name, the EIN, address, principal officer information will all automatically generate, just to save you a little bit of time from re-entering that year after year. And if any of that information changes, it's really simple to update in the database, so it generates properly on your form. We include all of the schedules on your form based on the information you provide. So we understand it's not always easy to know what additional information is required on your return. When you complete a return with Tax990, we help determine what schedules are required based on the information you provide on the form. The schedules required will automatically generate for you to complete, and only the necessary parts of the schedule will appear. So you're not completing information that's not required. So as I mentioned earlier, for example, if you make a selection on your 990 that your organization's a 501c3, page 1 of Schedule A is going to automatically generate for you. And then once you choose your reason for public charity status on page 1 of Schedule A, the necessary additional parts of Schedule A will be enabled. And then we have the option to copy information from prior years. So when filing from year to year, a lot of your information remains the same. So we provide the ability to transfer information directly from a prior year. So when you're filing consecutive years, the organization information, public charity status, books are in the care of details, Schedule B, contributor names and addresses, list of officers, prior year revenue and expenses, it can all be transferred from the prior year to the current year return to save you some clicks. This is optional. It's not something that you have to use when filing year after year. You can choose to transfer the information and edit it once it's been transferred, or you can choose not to transfer information at all and start over, and it leaves it very customizable. Again, as I mentioned earlier, knowing whether your form's accepted or not is incredibly important. So with Tax990, we provide an acceptance notice. So once the IRS provides a status update, you'll get an email with the acceptance notice, and then the IRS acceptance letter will be available in your account for your records. We often get questions about the signature portion of the return when e-filing. So if you're e-filing on behalf of your organization, a physical signature is not required. You'll just need to provide the name and title of the individual preparing the return, but you won't need to sign a form. And when you're filing as a paid preparer, as I mentioned, we have CPA firms that use us as well. If you're filing as a paid preparer, you'll be able to send what's called an 8453TE signature page to your client so they can electronically sign it and return it to you. And then it will be automatically added to your form and you'll be able to proceed with filing. We also have the option to allow other members to review and approve the return. So once you've completed a return, you can share it with members of your organization for approval. It can be shared either electronically, meaning you send the organization member an email to access the document online where they can review it, comment on it, and approve it. Or you can share it manually, meaning you can print a copy and share it with the organization members. When you share it for review and approval, the people you share it with cannot make any changes to it. They can just make suggestions. So then you'll be able to go back into your account and make any necessary updates prior to transmitting. Tax990 supports several other forms outside of the 990 forms we discussed and the extension 8868 form. We also offer the 990T, the California 199, the 8038 CP form, and the 1120 POL form. For more information on any of these forms, you can reach out to us. We're happy to help. We do support the current year and 2 prior years for all of the forms that Tax990 offers. So if you did ever get a rejected form because it needed to be e-filed instead of paper filed, we do support 2020, 21, and 2022. So you can file any of those years with us. So for how-to guides, we have so many helpful tools, tips, tricks, videos. You can visit our blog and our YouTube channel. You can also visit tax990.com for helpful resources and information. We have an extensive knowledge base and other really great tools. Even if you're not using Tax990, check it out just for the tools and the information and the knowledge. It's all very helpful in IRS guidelines, in filing guidelines, all of those things. And I think that's about it. Yeah. Again, we do have a support team here at Tax990. If you have questions on any of your forms, please reach out to us. We're here to help you guys. We got email, phone, and chat support available. So reach out. We're looking forward to talking to you guys and meeting new people and new organizations and working closely again with the Giving Block moving forward.
Thanks so much, Nikita. So because of our partnership, we are offering 15% off of the annual subscription if you choose to work with us. So if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can go ahead and scan this QR code here, or I'm also going to launch a poll and see if any of you guys are interested in meeting with us. Let me just give me 1 second here to do that. Having a little bit of trouble with these polls today. So, okay, here we go. Yeah, if you want to learn more, let us know and we'll connect you with a member of our team. And we also have a few minutes for questions. So Nikita and I will go look at those now and try to get to as many as we can. And if there is something that we can't get to in the last few minutes, We can go over if Nikita has time, I have time, or if not, we can just follow up with an email response. So let's go ahead and check out. Oh, I never got to see where everyone was coming in from the chat. It looks like we had Vegas, North Dakota, Sweden. All right, so let's go to the Q&A. And see, we will be sending a copy of the slides after the webinar, as well as a recording. And we encourage you to share it with your colleagues or anyone else that might be interested as well. Thomas, do you also provide support services, including an audit response? I think, Nikita, would that be you?
If it is, Thomas, yes. So we, like I mentioned in the information, we do have an audit available for your return. And if you have questions on any of the audit errors, you can give us a call and we're happy to walk you through explaining those different audit errors and how to resolve those.
Awesome. Yeah, and if it does apply to the Giving Block, we do automatically populate the 82, 82, 82, 83. Just not sure if that was what you were looking for. Just let us know in the chat, or if it's something different. And then does your platform support the donation of options? Not quite sure what you mean there, but our donation form will allow the donor to give crypto, stock, donor advised fund, as well as credit card. So if you want to provide a little clarity on that one as well, that came from an anonymous attendee, let us know. But yeah, if anyone, stocks options. So we only allow actual, like, you have to type in which stock it is. So I'm going to have to check in with the team, but I think it's just like regular stocks. I'll check in. And then if anyone doesn't have any more questions, I think we can call it, Nikita. We really appreciate all of your time today. I hope you learned something. Again, we'll be sending the slides and the recording out soon, and want to appreciate you all for tuning in. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.